In the first video for Lesson 3, we discussed creating a new DWI search warrant using our warrant mode. We will now continue with how to create a PDF of the warrant and complete our warrant case. For the remainder of this training session, we're going to discuss creating a paper blood search warrant to take to a judge. We'll scroll down here to blood forms in the middle of the screen. I need the affidavit for search warrant and the blood search warrant. Then I'll go ahead and download those as a single PDF. The first page of the PDF is my affidavit. If you take a look here, you will see all of my certifications that were put onto my resume page. All the defendant's information, our probable cause narrative, all the field sobriety test information that we entered, and all of our defendant observations and other information. You could apply a PDF signature here, but typically this form is printed and wet signed by you and then a judge. The next is our search warrant. We'll just make sure that the county is correct, the defendant's name is correct. Next is the return and inventory, and then finally the order of assistance. Print off this entire PDF packet and then take it to a judge for signing. Once they're signed, then you can serve the warrant following your normal procedures. Once your blood draw is complete, you can come back to Leaders to finish your case report. From the View Forms page, we'll go up here to the top where it says Convert Warrant Case into a Full DWI Case, and then click that button. Click OK, and this will make our case a full DWI report. Now that you've converted your search warrant case to a full case, we're going to go through each of the new blanks that were added. If you are starting a new DWI full case because you did not need a search warrant, then this is all of the case information you would fill out. On the first page, we added a few extra spots for you to fill out: district and grid, and arrest number if you know it. Arrest numbers are typically associated with jail bookings. You can also track your district grid by your agency if you want those stats. The next page is the defendant's information. Most of this information was already filled out. One box that gets overlooked is skin complexion, so I'm going to click that and check their complexion. Again, if these don't apply, you don't have to fill them out. Next page, continuing with defendant information. We've got some more info to fill out here. If you know their DPS SID number, which is their criminal history arrest number, you can put that in. Education is important if you ask those questions on the scene. We now have a new condition at the scene box, which is different than condition at the jail. This is the condition of the person prior to arrest. So here's where you would type whatever the general description was. It could be the same or it could be different. For example, if you make an arrest and they resist arrest, their condition at the time of booking may be different than what their condition is at the scene. So that's one way to look at those differences. We continue with address information. We've already entered their home address, and if we know their emergency contact and work address, it can enter here. The next page is our observation page. We've already entered most of this, except up here at the top. It asks for clothing description. So just briefly, I'm going to enter what they were wearing. Next is the offense page. Everything we've entered in this page is still here. At the bottom, we have the Add New Offense button. You can add an offense to your report that was in addition to your DWI charge if you have one. It doesn't help you with any probable cause affidavits or anything like that. It just gives you the data on the back end to show which additional offenses occur with the DWIs most commonly with your agency. The next page is the conditions page. We've added some drop-down menus here at the top to fill out. I've already filled them out. Was the road marked for traffic lanes? Yes or no? You can describe your traffic lines here. In my case, I put raised road reflectors and painted lines. Our initial contact is all the same. But down here at the bottom, we'll add if the suspect resisted or not. Toggle these on to add to your report. Next is our probable cause page. This information has already been entered. If you need to add to your probable cause, you can at this point. It will then add to your arrest affidavit. The next page is our physical evidence page. If you have a 911 recording, click yes. I put a brief explanation for the 911 recording that I downloaded for the case. If you have other physical evidence, you can document it in here with whatever it was you seized. So in this case, I entered a wristband and a bar receipt. Next page is our recordings page. You can document your video here that is included with your case. We'll click Add New. This gives you the options to fill out with what recorded on each video. Next is our attachment page. This page should not be used. It's going to be removed in a future update, so please don't attach anything to your leaders' cases. Next is our vehicle information page. We've got just a couple extra things to add here. There are a couple of checkboxes at the top. Most of our information has already been entered. We're back to passengers again. Remember, the only passengers you enter into your leader's case will be child passengers. The rest will be entered into your RMS system. The next pages are the SFST pages. Again, we've already entered the front page. We're going to go next to HGN. You'll see that HGN has expanded to show all of our qualifying questions that we should have asked or verified in the field. If you need to make a note, you can. For each one of these, I'm just going to go through and click my responses. One major benefit to the leader system is that all of this information is printed onto your case report. So when you're on the stand testifying, you can quickly look at your case report to refresh your memory on things relating to SFSTs or other details from your case. Next is walk and turn. All of our clues are already entered. We will go up to the top just to make sure that we have entered everything. And then for each one of my clues, I'm going to go back and put in notes. It's important that you document your SFSTs, so you'll want to put in notes for each of the clues that you saw. And we'll do the same thing with one leg stand. So I'm just going to document 2-inch circular sway. You get the idea. The next page is our witness page. Again, witnesses will be entered into your RMS system, so we're going to skip this. There could be a circumstance where you would enter passengers and witnesses, but that's only if your agency has a full integration with leaders. We will cover that in a different training video if your agency has that integration. Next tab is other officers. I recommend you put all of your backup officers here. You can add them quickly just by entering their name, ID number, department, and what they did. You can toggle on supplement if they're going to owe you a supplement. So it is documented that they need to include one. If you want to add another, click Save New Officer, and you can click Add New here, or click Next to go to the next page. Next are post-arrest interview questions. About 90% of law enforcement agencies do not do post-arrest interviews on DWI cases. If you do, you can toggle this off, and all the questions will appear that can be asked in a post-arrest interview. On the next page, enter any statements made after arrest by the defendant said on the way to jail, during the blood draw, or anywhere else they may have made incriminating statements. If they left an alcohol serving business, if yes, then enter all that information here for where they were drinking. That information serves two purposes. One, TABC can do the administrative violations on establishments that overserve. Secondly, this information is available to you in your data reports to know what locations in your jurisdiction the DWI drivers are coming from. Down at the bottom is if EMS responded, yes or no, and then whatever they did on the scene. Next is your specimen page. On the specimen page, we're going to fill out our DIC 24 information here, English or Spanish, if you use the recording, and then whatever time it was. We're back to the specimen information that we already filled out. Since we took a blood specimen, we're going to click yes. We took it with a warrant even though they refused, so all these should be toggled on. If we got a search warrant, we can click this to yes. If we did an electronic warrant, this will automatically populate. Since we didn't, we're going to have to fill out this information from our paper warrant. The next page is our blood specimen page. These are all the questions that pertain to the blood draw itself, so how many vials, the person's name that drew it, where they are employed, what their title was, all of these blood-related things. This populates onto the lab form as well as your case report. If you know which lab you're submitting your specimen to, you can fill that out. Typically, it's a DPS lab, but it could be a private lab depending on your agency procedures. The last page is DIC 25 page. We've already put in the date. Now we're going to select whether we gave it to them personally, which takes us back to the View Forms page. This completes our DWI case report. Let's review. Review the CCP so you know which judges in your jurisdiction are able to review and issue evidentiary search warrants. While a majority of your cases will include a suspect who is in custody and has refused to provide a specimen, this is not a requirement unless you are using a judge who is qualified under subsection J, 1801. You have to have probable cause to arrest for a Chapter 49 offense. PC is established based on the totality of the circumstances surrounding your investigation. You no longer have to write out all of the SFSTs in your narrative. You may shorten your verbiage because the results are attached to your PC affidavit. You can simply say something like, Affiant is certified to administer standardized field sobriety tests, which were administered to the defendant. The defendant performed poorly, and the defendant was placed under arrest for driving while intoxicated. Leaders is flexible to allow you to either download and print a search warrant and affidavit, or send it electronically to a judge. Once you have completed your search warrant, you can convert it to a full case and enter all of your case data. In the next lesson, we are going to discuss how to complete an electronic warrant request when using the warrant mode. This will dramatically reduce the time it takes for you to have a warrant signed by a judge. And in Lesson 6, we will talk about all the forms on the View Forms page and the purpose of each. Your agency will decide which forms are mandatory for your DWI investigations.